Hello there. If you're hearing me right now, it's because you're watching the VOD on YouTube, and I'm going to be faffing about a bit at the beginning, so there's timestamps. You might want to use them. Up to you. If you want to listen to me faff about, that's your business. Anyway, so go live. Twitch. Well, that's not the right title. See, this is what I meant about faffing about. Okay, now it's set up. Okay. So we're probably good. Alright. So I've gone live on Twitch. And I guess I need to actually send the pings out. So stream pings. Mentioned 37 plus people. Why the plus? There's 37 people in the server. Why would it be more than... well, anyway. Let me just double check that Bones isn't like actively... no, it's not actively streaming. Okay, good. Hey Alex. Alright. So you might have noticed that the main camera is shaking a lot. That's because it's clamped onto the desk that the streaming system is on, which is the desk that I've, been like typing on, leaning against. But that should mean that if I wobble the desk that the card is on, the camera, I mean, it's still going to wobble a bit because the card is wobbling. But when I'm like, bent over this, working on it, hopefully it'll be. I haven't thought this through. Well, whatever. We'll see how this goes. This is very experimental. Because the plan is, I've got this card here, and I'm going to try my best to mod it on stream. And I've not streamed doing this kind of thing before. I know that the card is moddable. I haven't figured out exactly what to solder where. So, yeah. Actually, one thing first. I should remove the I/O shield, shouldn't I? That would be a good start. I might have a hex socket somewhere that fits, but I have wire strippers and those are actually to hand. So yeah, sorry about the late start. It's a really late start actually. I spent a lot of time faffing around, clearing the desk, trying to figure out how I can get more than one camera on this, because I really didn't want to be doing this with just one camera. That felt a little bit, I don't know, uninteresting. I feel like streams normally have like a load of stuff going on in the frame. I don't know, maybe I could just have like a great big sponsor thing in the corner and that could make it visually interesting. Signal RGB, sponsor me. I'm very cheap. Can only catch a few minutes. Well. I appreciate you dropping by. Right. That's the I/O shield out the way. That's going to make life a little bit easier for now. I need to put that somewhere and I need to not lose all the bits. I have a Ziploc bag. One day I will be more comfortable being on camera and then I can just have a wide camera on the entire room. That'll probably work a bit better. Although when I'm doing this, if I'm like hunched over the desk here soldering, then it's just it's not really going to be a wide camera. It's just going to be like, a mix back camera, which is not I don't consider my back that visually interesting. Alex asks what are the power stages or MOSFETs. They are MOSFETs, they're discrete MOSFETs. If I lean in like this, is it? Yeah, okay. So I can lean in quite far before I'm blocking it. Looks like, so what have we got on the memory? We have an MDU 1514 and an MDU 1516. And it looks like it's the same for Vcore. So the 1514s are the low side, and then the 1516s are the high side. And I think that actually, I don't know if there might be some kind of like minor voltage regulator on the card. I'm not sure. Because we have this PCI voltage and we have something here which I've not actually looked into. What is that? UP0104S? UP0104S. Well, that's really unhelpful. Lots of retailers that pinky swear that they stock it but don't say what it is. Bah, well, whatever. So, yeah, mods, I guess. We should probably start with Vcore. So I have a plan for this. Because I want to explain roughly what the Vcore mod looks like. And so what I have is I have my old university project book, which is the wrong way up. Well, that's okay. That's okay. I can deal with that. And I have a pencil case, which is actually it's an OCZ power supply modular cable case that I've been using as a pencil case like since second year of university, so I guess like 9 years. Anyway, let me find a blank page in this, and I think it has email addresses written in it, so I'll try not to dox anyone. But yeah, lots of university notes, none of them particularly useful. And I mean, to be honest, half of this I can't really yeah, my notes were quite sweary as well. I've got these like notes for electron web at scale. Ooh, that does not work well on the small camera. But yeah, and it's just like scale is handling a fuck ton of concurrent requests. Yeah, okay. Let's find some actual blank paper. So, the way that Vcore works on this card is a little bit interesting. It's not the usual... that's really dark. I don't think there's anything I can do about that. Like, the brightness setting on the camera is like auto. I don't know if waving at it's going to do anything. Oh well. So, is this Sharpie any good? Let me switch to just the big camera. Yeah, the Sharpie works. So, how am I going to approach this with the angle? Well, so we've got our controller, and then the controller has 3 pins on it. Is that... You can see fine. That's good. Yeah, I think that's reasonably visible. Let me check the data sheet so I get the names on these right. Yeah. So I'm going to write this at an angle that I can see, because my handwriting is bad at the best of times. So we have VSET, VREF, and VReturn. So this is ground, basically. And then VREF is 2 volts, and VSET is the target voltage. And the way that the card is set up is you have a potential divider. So you have a resistor between VREF and VSET, and another one between VSET and VReturn. So with the potential divider, basically the voltage that's dropped over each resistor is proportional to its value. So if we say that this resistor is, what's an imaginary number that will work well? Let's say it's 15, that came out well. And let's say, oh, have I backed myself into a corner? I was going to say 5, I've got those the wrong way around. Let's say that that is 45. So that's a ratio of 1 to 3, so we'll drop 0.5 there and 1.5 here, which means that in the middle here we have 1.5 volts, for example. That was a terrible 5. But you get the general idea, right? That's how a potential divider works. So the card already has a potential divider on it, and then it's got another thing. So there's a second resistor off here that goes to RSET, and what that does is there's basically another pin on the controller, and the card can just give it a 1 or a 0 on that pin, and if it gives it a 1 on that pin, then RSET also gets connected to ground, so that brings that other resistor into play, and that pulls the voltage down, because 2 resistors in parallel will have a lower resistance. Hopefully that makes some sense. That's the principle of the mod that we're going to do, because it's not quite a standard feedback mod, but it's kind of the same general idea. So we want to reduce the resistance between VSET and VREF. So we'll do that by adding another resistor in parallel between VSET and VREF. And then, you know, if let's say that one's 15 as well, then both of those taken together is 7.5 ohms. Because that's how parallel resistors work. Hopefully that made sense. I hadn't thought through the camera angle, so I've had to do it sideways. But that's the plan. Now the other thing that I probably should have done earlier, but I was sort of late as it was, is actually finding the right pins. So I'm just going to actually print something out. So I've got you all sitting here watching me, and I'm going to mess around and print something out. Assuming that I've got... Yeah, I have Writer installed on this. Okay, good. So I'm just going to take the pin configuration and our typical application circuit from the datasheet and pop those on a page, and we'll print that. Thanks, Crispy. Right, and while that's printing, I'll need a multimeter, because I'm about to be doing a load of stabbing. Yeah, that's fine, isn't it? Alright. So, yeah, oh, hopefully will behave itself. Yeah, I'm not really sure where the traces on this go. That's going to potentially be a problem. What? What the hell? So somehow the printout hasn't included half the page. What? I'm going to try that again. Anyway, VSET should be pin 1, I think. Which is going to be that one. So, what resistance does that have to ground? It looks like 1.4k to ground from VSET. And then VREF is, oh, it's the pin right next to it. So this is where it gets a little bit .9, well, 1k basically. Why is it now 2.1k to ground? Have I got a worse ground? Ugh. Ah. Okay, that's printed properly this time. So yes, pin configurations and typical application circuit. How do I fit this in the frame as well? I'm not going to be able to fit that in the frame. So it's a resistor between VSET and VREF, which should be those top two pins, I think. Rather annoyingly, I'm going to have to take a picture on my phone, I think. And maybe that will be able to capture a little bit more detail. I'm not sure if that's even worked. Kind of, not really. I need a better magnifying setup. I have this set of absurd like magnifying glasses. They're not very good. You need to be really, really close for them to work, but I think in this situation, what else can you do? So yeah, lean in with this ridiculous thing on my head. I'm still not sure what's going on there, honestly. The colour of this PCB is such a pain in the ass. There's so little contrast between the tracers and the solder mask. It makes it really, really difficult to tell what's going on. What am I looking for? I'm looking for something that let's start with that top pin. That should be pin 1 VSET. And actually, let's just check. It should have a resistance, a sort of same resistance to RSET up here as well. No? Oh, here we are. Yeah, 5.9k. That makes sense. Okay, so I think we've got VSET. So what does that trace out to? For starters, what's the resistance from VSET to... that can't be right. There. So if we get 0.994k, so just under 1k, then we're probably looking at VREF, and if we get 0, then we're looking at VSET. Ahahaha! So that looks like VREF. And was that 0? I can't tell if the probes are touching. Let me try swapping them around. That's in the ohms. So I think that... Okay, no, if I measure across that resistor, that gives me 2... So that side, maybe that side's ground. Yeah. I mean, that seems like ground. Is there a PCIe ground up here? Yeah, okay. So I've found the VSET to ground resistor. Let me just zoom you in a bit. I'm sorry, you're going to lose the... Ooh, no. You're going to lose the multimeter, but you'll be able to see the actual... the actual resistor that I found. There we go. So this resistor here is VSET to ground. On the card that I've got, which is the GALAX GT740 SOC. Alright, so what are the rest of these? Because we're looking for just under 1k. What's that? That's not giving us anything. No. What about this one? No, that's 1.4k. What about down here? No. No. Am I looking at the right thing? I'm looking... Wait. I'm confusing myself now. I'm looking for VSET to VREF. Yeah, and VSET to VREF is definitely 0.994K. Okay. What about any of these empty pads? If I can even keep the probes still. Not those. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. That's promising. We have 0.992K on those empty pads there. Bouncing around a little bit. That's R36. No, I think that might just be a coincidence. What about R39 down here? No. Oh dear. Did I check these up here yet? Nope. What about those two? I'm going to check R39 again. This is getting really annoying. Is it possible it's on the other side? No, it's not. There's sod all on the other side. The other side is very devoid of surface mount components. Oh, well that's something, because that would have been an absolute bugger. Oh, well, this is the frustrating part of figuring out mods. What I can try is I do have the USB microscope. I can see if I can add that in. I don't have a... Sorry, that's really rattling the camera. Yeah, I don't have a stand for it, but hopefully... New source, USB scope. Yeah, there it is. The lead isn't long enough, for God's sake. Let's just pull it over here a bit. I'll turn that the way up that I think is going to work. That was probably really loud. Sorry, that's the multimeter complaining that it's been left on. Which it has, to be fair to it. Wow. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I can see sod all there. That is astonishing. The traces are just absolutely invisible. If I add light from it, oh, that helps. That helps. We see, so both of the traces go up there. It really looks like that resistor ought to be between pins 1 and 2, between VSET and VREF, but maybe it's not. Oh, I've lost myself. Where am I? Maybe one of the ones above it? Where does that trace... That trace goes up there, doesn't it? Or is that... No, that's a via. Ooh, you bastards. You tricky bastards. No. Nope. Nope. I keep, like... I keep questioning my measurement here. It is really difficult to tell. My kind of plan for this stream was like, as long as it is moddable, which it is, I'll just jump in and like, I'll show the whole process. Oh, I mean, the good news is Yasarian was saying that he'd be here in about 2 hours, and it's been half an hour already. I'm just being silly now. What was that one set of pads that had the right resistance? Was it R38? Yeah, R38 has the right resistance. So surely, nothing else has that resistance. But then I measure it to one of the pads on here and it's like 52 kilo ohms. And 53 to the other one. Which, yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm just going to drag that off scene, get rid of it. Move that back over a bit, recenter it slightly. Should I just keep checking resistors? I'm tempted to just keep checking resistors. The good news is that Vmem should be a hell of a lot easier than this. Vmem should be very straightforward. The other really annoying thing about this is that I actually need to solder on 2 wires. Once I've got a couple of wires down, if they're actually joined properly, then we're laughing. Because I can just run them to wherever and put the potentiometer in. Well, what I'll actually do once I've got the wires in is I'll try and hot glue them down, give it a bit of strain relief, and then I shouldn't have to worry about them going anywhere. And it's clearly not going to be that because that says 1R8 on it. What am I even doing? Being driven mad by a lack of a resistance of just under a kilo ohm on any of these. Oh, that looks promising. What's that? R78 up here. Nope. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to blast it with contact cleaner. Which I know seems churlish, but basically my worry is that maybe there's like, I don't know, oxidation or something, and that's making it more difficult to get the right reading. So there's no harm in blasting it with a bit of contact cleaner, and it might help. You never know. I know that looks bad, but it's honestly fine. It's not water, it's a fast drying solvent of some sort that's safe for electronics. Oh, fast drying as it is, I'm going to mop some of it up. Also, like, the decompression means it comes out really cold, which is kind of funny. Right. I wonder if that's affected the contrast at all. I'm going to have another look with the scope. What's our angle here? You know, it actually has, I think. I think it has made it a little bit easier to see what's going on. But these things are always relative. So I'm fairly confident that that resistor in the middle of the screen there is, I think that's VSET to ground, which was V-return. But V-return should be like right down there. It doesn't look like it is. Well, it disappears off somewhere. I just want... Wait. Hold on. That's weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, it's supposed to only have 6 pins aside. What am I'm worrying about nothing there. Although that does mean I might have been maybe measuring from like some internal connection. Is there a risk of that? So I could maybe stand to check my measurements. I'm actually quite glad I blasted it with contact cleaner. It's a lot easier to see what's going on now. So if I'm right about the orientation, which I'm not 100% certain of, then where's a ground? I need a nice friendly ground. Are you a ground? Have I got ground? Yeah, I've got a ground. Then that pin on the edge there ought to be ground. This one. I'm getting like an ohm depending on orientation. So yeah, I can believe that that's because that's like it's ground, but it has to go all the way through the power plane, whereas I'm measuring from a screw hole. So that's probably right, because V return is actually like it's the ground like for the GPU voltage, which that would be really interesting to check actually. Let's check what the drop on the ground plane is. So we've got our ground there, and then we've got oh, sorry. One of these is going to be Vcore, the other one's ground. Overload? Really? Is the resistance that high? No. Okay, so that's... Oh yeah, that's behaving fairly similarly then. Yeah. Oh. Oh, what? So it's 24.5 ohms. So that's probably the Vcore side. Do I have a GPU? Yeah, there's a GPU voltage measuring point. Yeah, so that was the Vcore side. I think this is a fairly weak ground here compared to stabbing it properly. So yeah, we have a drop of, you know, 0.1, 0.2 ohms potentially on that ground, maybe. Yeah, there's a bit of drop on that ground. Right, so I think I'm in the right place about the orientation. I'm fairly confident of that. So let's pull the microscope back on screen. So that's definitely, those two are definitely the pins that I care about. They're definitely VSET and VReturn. You can see that, sorry, not VSET and VSET and VREF, and you can see how VREF goes to the side of that resistor, but VSET doesn't. What? Wait, what? Why would V? Have I been missing something this entire fucking time, or what? Is it literally just that resistor? I really can't tell. It looks like there might be another trace there. Goes up there, maybe? I'm not 100% sure where that would be from VSET, so that could be a trace for RSET maybe. That would make some sense. Ugh. Sorry, that's probably really loud. 'Cause it's really near the mic. I don't know if I can disable it though. Yeah. I could believe it's that resistor. I really could believe it's that resistor. And that's the obvious resistor for it to be as well. So why is that resistor not... I haven't checked the resistances since I sprayed contact cleaner everywhere. I should do that. I'm going to do that right now. That's the whole point of spraying contact cleaner everywhere, was that I could then check those resistances. Let me zoom in a bit. So this is the resistor that is under intense suspicion. We're seeing 2.38 kilo ohms. Okay. VSET to VREF. That can't be right. Sorry, I keep checking, and it's, I mean, okay, it's gone down a bit, but it's 0.973k. It just keeps being 0.973k. It's almost as if it's still the same bloody card, and that just is not 0.973k. I'm almost at the point where I just want to like solder the mod end onto like this resistor and just fucking see what happens, but like it's clearly not that resistor. Have they done this on purpose? You know what? I've been at this for 3/4 of an hour. I have made literally no progress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop messing around with Vcore just for now. I'm going to do Vmem. Vmem is a straightforward feedback mod, so there should be a lot less mucking about. How do you do landscape pages in LibreOffice Writer? I want to print this out landscape. Yeah, let's not spend ages on that. I'll print it out as big as I can, portrait, who cares? So, right, let's flip that over, have a look at Vmem. That is our that's not even visible on the main camera. That is our Vmem controller right there, and that should hopefully be a lot more straightforward. So with any luck I'll be able to figure out the mod easily. Unless feedback to Vcore is 0 ohms, in which case that's the stream over. There's your fucking jeopardy. Because in all seriousness, if feedback to Vcore is 0 ohms, then there's literally nothing I can do. Well, not literally, I might be able to lift the pin, but like, yeah. So let's pull the scope back on screen. Let's have a proper look at this guy. So there's our dot. Feedback is pin 6, so it's the opposite side to the dot. So I think it should be that pin. Is that right? Yeah, that's looking right. Okay. And does that pin... Where are we? Does that pin trace out to anything obvious? Normally with these kind of setups there's like... Yeah, so it traces out to like a gazillion things. Like the 3 things next to it should all be connected, I think. We'll double check that. But this should be a much more straightforward job than the last one. Hopefully. Right, so feedback pin there, feedback to ground resistance. About 800 ohms, is that all? Okay, kind of low, but whatever. Feedback to Vmem. It's going to be one of these. 800 on that side. 800 on that side, roughly. Sweet. So we can do a feedback mod. And that's connected to feedback. That's connected to feedback. Is that pad connected to feedback as well? Do you know it is? Wonderful. So there's like 3 pads in a row along there that are all connected to feedback. So that should make it really, really easy to actually do a feedback mod. Right. So to prepare for soldering, I need Kapton tape and scissors. Neither of which are to hand, of course, because that'd be too easy. Right, that's some scissors out of the cutlery drawer. Kapton tape. I definitely had some of that lying around. Where has the bloody Kapton tape gone? Why is it there was random Kapton... Oh, there it is. Oh, that's quite thick. Oh, that will be fine. Right. Zoom. Oh, I was complaining about the Kapton tape being thick and a finger curled on the cursed monkey's paw because I've managed to do the thing where you only peel half of it. Okay, I won't. Can I recover this? Oh no, that's not looking. Can I recover it in the other direction? Yeah, just get rid of it. There we are. So the purpose of the Kapton tape is I'm not very good at soldering. And this is heat resistant and it should stop me from screwing it up too badly. As long as the Kapton tape is in the right place, I can go at it with a soldering iron. And hopefully not accidentally solder to the wrong thing. So we're aiming for, let's aim for this pad here. But let's come on, come on. Tape over sort of most of the area around it. Yeah, I think that's on okay. That's looking good, I think. Yeah, that'll do. The beauty of a feedback mod is the only difficult bit of soldering is onto the feedback pin, or onto a pad that's connected to the feedback pin in this case. Because the other bit of necessary soldering is just onto ground, and that's normally quite an easy thing to find a nice easy soldering spot for. Okay. So hopefully that's fairly well marked out. I'm going to pull up the microscope again so that you can see it and I guess judge how well marked out it is. Where are we? Okay, yep. So both of those points that are still accessible are connected to feedback. I checked that earlier. So hopefully we can just solder onto that. And that will give us our feedback connection. Now I just need to find some wire, and for that matter, I'll start heating up the soldering iron. Do I have the power supply for the soldering iron to hand? Oh no. So many things that could be. Ah, yes, there's the power supply. Good, right. Lay that across there. Right, where's the bloody iron? It's in here somewhere. There it is. Right. Okay. Wire. I need a wire. That's wire. Where's the end of that? If you could see my box O soldering stuff, it's horrific. It is absolutely horrific. No, I've got some black wire. I want to use the red wire. Where's the end of the red wire? It's all tangled in stuff. Come on, out you go. Right. Red wire. Let's give ourselves a fairly long piece of that. Hey folks, I've had absolutely no luck whatsoever finding a point that I can actually grab the necessary pin for the Vcore mod. Because I can't solder to the controller itself, but like I can't. There's a resistor somewhere on the circuit board that it traces out to, and I can't find it. And the circuit board is like really low contrast, so it's really difficult to see the traces as well. So that bit is not going well. No, it's not a feedback mod. For Vcore, it's... So I've printed out the typical application circuit here. But basically, it's got VSET, which is the target voltage. Vref is 2 volts. And then Vreturn is ground. And it has a potential divider between Vref, Vset, and Vreturn. And that gives you the target voltage. And then the other thing that it can do is it has this RSET pin, which it connects to ground if it gets a signal to do so, and that lets you have an idle voltage as well. But yeah, so basically it's actually you put a resistor between Vref and Vset to pull up the Vset, so to pull up the target voltage. Feedback itself, I've not double checked, but I think it's probably connected directly. Well, it doesn't have a connection to ground as far as I can tell. It's just you've got VCC sense there and then some resistors and then feedback, but there's no pardon me, there's no other connection like from feedback to ground. Maybe it'll be possible to feedback mod. Yeah. I guess I could have a look at that. I could have a look at feedback modding, perhaps. Because if it's got a non-zero resistance between feedback and Vcore, then it doesn't matter if feedback doesn't have a connection to ground yet. Right, anyway. Where did I put my wire strippers? There we are. Is this multi-core wire? Okay, apparently that wire is multi-core, which is... Why would you make a wire with multiple cores? That's... whatever. I'm just going to trim off the end of that. And snip. Right. So... can I bring that in that close? Is that going to be okay? Yeah. And zoom. All right. One trick I learned for feedback mods, putting a resistor both in series and parallel with the pot can help lower sensitivity and reduce the turns. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That is nice. We up to temperature? We're not up to temperature yet. How are we not up to temperature when it's also climbing really rapidly? Who knows? We are now up to temperature. Where's the end of the solder? That's the next question. Oh, there it is. And you can't see me scrabbling for the end of the solder because I zoomed you in. Right. There we are. So, don't do this above the card, but because I have capped on tape, I'm not as worried. So that's the iron tinned. This webcam's not getting a whole lot of use, is it? Or whatever. I don't know what I expected, but the solder just climbed up the tip of the iron rather than going anywhere near the PCB there. Let's try that again. Aha, that's good. The yeah, it's looking good. My hands are not steady. Any luck? Nope. That is horrific. Fucking multi-core wire. I don't know if I have any single core. Just gonna squeeze the end of the wire. Now that I've got some solder on it, just gonna squeeze it in some pliers, hoping that that helps to keep it together. Right, come on. Please. Oh, that's looking really bad. Have I mentioned I'm not very good at this? The last time I self-deprecated on stream, my mum talked to me about it afterwards. It's just true though. I'm not very good at fine soldering, and it's okay to be aware of that. I like to tin a long length of stripped wire, then cut it to get a nice thin tip. That sounds like it would work well. Let's give that a go. I'm doing this above the card. Oh, what do I need to do to make that in frame? I need to go this way, don't I? Which is normally a terrible idea, but in my defence I have kept on tape. Well, this wire is very heat conductive, I'll tell you that much. Ah! Oh, of course it bounces off onto part of the card that doesn't have the bloody Kapton tape on it. Ah, bastard. Oh, whatever. RIP that sticker. You want to be feeding solder into the tip as it's touching the wire. Oh good, just let me grow a third arm. I think I might have some like helping hands things somewhere, to be completely fair. Not to hand though. Yeah. Maybe if I did that your way it would work well. Yeah, properly. I'm going to root around in my wire, see if I have anything that looks like it might be single core. The box is horrendous. What about that? That's maybe. I have this wire from like a random GPU fan. Looks kind of promising. Nope. Nope, that's still multi-core. That wire looks very thick for a feedback mod. Yeah. What else do I have? Ooh, this looks promising. I don't know what it's from. It's this bundle of red, green, black and white wires twisted together. But I don't know. I think that looks pretty good, size-wise. I just need to liberate it. Untangle one single tiny wire from the multi-core, suggests Blue Paw Wolf. The problem is I still need the insulation, otherwise it's going to short on something. And it's also going to be really, really delicate. Right, I'm just unrolling. There we are. Okay, so just for comparison, so this new green wire is a lot smaller than what I already thought was fairly small wire. Annoyingly, it might still be multi-core. But I'm kind of past caring. Is the end of this soldering iron ever gonna bloody tin? Yes, okay. I think that's attached. Right, unplug the TS100 and put that somewhere safe. Safe. Put the roll of tissues somewhere that's not next to the really hot soldering iron. There, that's safe. Alright, I'm going to bring in the scope again, and we'll have a proper look. I think that's actually alright, yeah. That looks okay. Let's turn that round a bit. Yeah, it's across two pads, but both of the pads that it's across are pads that it's they're connected anyway. I would say I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, good. Well, I have successfully soldered one wire onto a graphics card. I am more tired than I expected to be in this situation. Right, let's pull up the Kapton tape. I'm not sure where it's going to end up, but what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a bit of hot glue for strain relief. If I have my hot glue gun in here? Yeah, my hot glue gun's in here. Right. I think, is that the... Yeah, that was the power supply for the TS100. Place that. And I guess this is why I have the wide camera, so that you can actually see me getting a hot glue gun out. Just move that back slightly so it doesn't drip on the card. Can I move that solder that's dropped on it, or is that just a permanent... There we go. That's moved. So, I don't know where it's going to end up, but I think I'm going to just hot glue it just here on the FCC warning. That seems like as good a place as any. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. We will at the very least have Vmem. We can do monitoring as well. That should be fairly straightforward. Straightforward. And they've given us a convenient 5 volt just there. That's actually really useful. Because I think, if I remember rightly, the monitoring needs an input that's... what does it say? 4 to 40 volts. The monitoring needs. The little LCD voltmeter that I've got. Okay, we're starting to drip, so let's get in there. God, my hands are shaking so badly, I think I might have to give up on Vcore. Hey Shaggy. Guess I returned at the wrong time, hot's not in action. Yeah. And my hand like shaking massively, it's horrendous. Right. There's your strain relief. If there's one thing that I can say for how this card is going to be when I'm done, it's that hopefully the mods are not just going to get randomly ripped off by accident. Because that I should stop tempting fate, but that is on there. Right. What do I need? I need... should I do monitoring next? I have a LCD voltmeter somewhere in here. Let me lift the camera up a bit. Hot glue makes soldering alone so much easier. Yeah. Right. I'm actually... I probably should have seen this coming when I was trying to have a nap before the stream, but I'm tired. It's basically just going to be memory today, I think. I don't know if I can even... Can I cat mod it? I'm not sure what this power plane is here. If that's ground or what. No, it can't be ground. What the fuck is it then? Well, anyway. Because it's not... Maybe it is 12 volts. Oh, right, yeah. It'll be 12 volts. Because there's a load of bridges on the other side for if the 6-pin is in use or not. Alright. So this is the type that can't be calibrated, which does mean on the plus side, I guess I don't need to worry about calibration. So we have TP, ground and VCC. I assume TP is the thing it's actually measuring. Yeah, it must be. So what else would it be? So I can probably just stick that on the side like that, maybe? Or I could stick it halfway halfway down. Yeah, let's go with halfway down. Is that still plugged in? No, it's not. Let's fire that back up. Hey Matt. Shaggy says typically using very thin enamelled wire, which I really ought to get some of. It's nearly impossible to rip traces or components with it. Hot glue's just to keep things more tidy. Yeah. So I'm thinking about there, probably. Looks alright. Just don't burn yourself now, yeah. That's not really warmed up yet, is it? So, a bit of a dribble. Speaking of wires, I was rummaging through my boxes earlier. I was actually looking for a DVI to HDMI adapter for this, because it only has mini HDMI. And I have like 4 EU plug to like kettle lead. Like I I don't remember the name of it, but like EU plug to computer power supply power leads. And is there anything useful I could actually do with them, bearing in mind that like I have none of those plugs? Like, they're basically brand new. They came with appliances, and I feel really bad sending them to the taking them to the recycler, but I don't know, like maybe it's going to be really thick, like extremely multi-core wire in there, isn't it? Maybe for e-powers? That looks terrible. Am I going to be able to get any more glue in there? Not really. Shaggy says there, cut EU plug and put UK ones on them. You might be right. I should see how much just the bare UK plugs cost. Right. Well, let's hope I'm happy with that, because that's not going anywhere. On the plus side, it's not going anywhere, which means I'm happy with that. Oh, hey Tag. PSU cables, you've always got too many. Yeah, fair enough. I was about to suggest that I don't, but I literally have a box full of like ancient crappy power supplies. Although I do also, where is it? I had some giant wire that I bought for e-power reasons. No, that's not it. Ugh, well, whatever. I had some somewhere. No idea where. Oh, what the hell? Well, I found my single core wire, although I think it's actually still a bit big, really. Well, I might be able to use that at some point. Good. Blue Paul Wolf says, I use my super old PSUs to power LEDs and desk fans and stuff. Yeah, and I've been doing that as well, actually. The only problem is that they tend to not be very efficient at low loads. So it might actually be using quite a lot of power. Anyway. Right, that monitoring is extremely on there. Yeah, that is never moving again. My desk lamp has a 750 watt 80 plus platinum Dell power supply. Does that count as old? I don't think it counts as old. Right. Okay. Right, I've got the hot glue gun somewhere out of the way where it's not going to get into any mischief. So, voltmeter. Is that on? Let's turn that on at the wall. Right. So I want to get these wires correct. Ooh, actually, kill the TS100. I know exactly what I need to do. But it'll take forever. That's annoying. Okay, bear with me. I'll be back in... Stay. I'll be back in like 2 minutes, hopefully, if I can find the thing. Never mind. I can't find the thing. So, I should really... I feel bad doing it on stream, but I should just sit here and Google it, shouldn't I? LED voltmeter. Red, black, blue. Wiring. Now the problem that I have here, blue should be measurement wire. Thanks. I agree. That was my assumption. So yeah, and black is of course ground, and yeah, that's actually marked. All right, well that's what I assumed. So if you say so as well, I'm willing to go with it. So how are we going to route this? Should probably do ground first. Ground's probably the easiest, because that's literally just there. How much slack do we even need? Probably want to give it a little bit of slack. Maybe a bit more slack than that. Badum-tish. No, this is fine. This is exactly what I want. Come on. Yeah, I'm on. Nice gold TS100, by the way. Thank you. Right. Shift all that up a little bit and zoom in a little. No, that's fine. I need tack. That's what I need. I have tack somewhere, surely. I must do. In fact, I thought I had a big lump of it lying around, didn't I? That I'd pulled off a board that I'd been using for insulation. Can't see it now. Yeah, screw it. This ought to be fairly straightforward anyway, so... Straightforward. Let's go in left-handed here. Maybe my left hand will be steadier. Not really. Still. Wow. I really should have seen that coming when I saw how, like, corroded it is. I have a flux pen. I don't have, like, good Rossmann flux, but I have a flux pen that I can sort of attack it with. I doubt that's made much difference, to be honest. Shaggy says, got hairdryer to heat up PC. Oh, right, yeah. I have a heat gun. Just imagining hitting the PCB with a heat gun and the voltmeter falls off. Right, because it's a ground. It's a GT740. The ground plane can't be that strong. Right, let's push the temperature a bit, and let's just try and tin this area. The solder is climbing up the tip of the iron. Come on. I don't think I'm actually wetting it. Ow. Well, that managed to spit solder onto my finger. Tiny little bit of solder. No harm, just hurt. And now I've got, like, the hot glue getting in the way. This is awful. I should have thought of this before I put a load of hot glue in this area. Shaggy's suggesting scratching it, and he's right. Yeah. What do I have that's going to be good at scratching? Screwdriver. If nothing else, to get rid of the layer of hot glue that I've managed to now deposit. I'm seeing bright spots now, that's a good sign. Yeah, that actually seems to be wetting. a bit. I'm willing to go in and give that another go now. You know, having managed to get it to wet, I've filled the hole that the wire needs to go in. 740 is Maxwell, right? No, it's Kepler. 384 shader, I think it's GK208 or something? It's the 750 and 750 Ti that Maxwell. Where's my solder sucker? I have one. I have a great big box that's like mostly random wires and it's horrific to find anything in. Nah. I don't think I'm going to have the luxury of a solder sucker. Oh, don't be like this. Alright, new plan. Let's see if I can get the wire to just lie. Oh, of course, the bloody... the hot glue is melting. Why? Why did I glue right next to this? God, this is horrific. I feel like Jay's 2 cents doing a shunt mod. Nope, nothing at all going on there. Come on. I just turned around and saw Shaggy saying, why not solder it on top? Don't need to stick it through the hole, which is exactly what I've just failed to do twice. Maybe if I kept the bloody wire in place. Hey! Perfect. Good. Okay. I am actually reasonably happy with that. Right, I think that was probably the most difficult one as well. So let's do 5 volts next. So we're going to want to run that like, I guess like that, roughly? Fuck! Oh, that was inevitable. That's going to hurt. Right, I should probably think about where I leave the soldering iron. Whew. And for the record, the running it under cold water thing is a myth. I got in there before you, Blue Paw Wolf. I'm literally just like sucking on it. Well, not sucking on it, but like, yeah. But yeah, that's can you see that yet? Yeah, it's gonna come out. Right. Let's put you a bit further away. Yeah. Cold water can soothe it. Yeah, exactly. Cold water. I remember when I was very young burning myself soldering, and I had like a wet flannel next to my bed. And the thing is, I was just alternating between like numbing it with the water and it hurting because the numbing effect had worn off. And it's not as if it was helping it to heal, because it needs blood flow to heal. So I was just making it more painful for myself. So yeah, I'm not going to numb anything. We'll see how that progresses. Right now it's like I'm aware of it. I wouldn't say it's... I have quite good pain tolerance. I wouldn't say it's that painful. And this is why you should be careful when you're soldering, you know. This is also why it's kind of good to do this on stream in a way. Not because, like, oh, I get to capture moments like this and exploit them for YouTube clicks, but, like, more because people get to see the risks, I suppose, and like see what you need to worry about. Because I've got a nasty burn on one of my fingers now. Fortunately, it's on the back of the finger. It's there. So it's a bit that's not, you know, often used. So it's not too bad. But that's why you got to be careful. Blue Paul Wolf says, what I've heard is that it wicks away some of the heat transfer, because it can keep getting worse for a little while after a burn. Yes. Yeah, I can believe that. In certain situations, but like, by the time I've gone and like run it under some water, like, I feel like the time that I'm taking walking over to the sink is time I could be spending just like shaking my hand in the air and like rubbing it and licking it and stuff. I'm going to try a crosshead. This feels so silly, but... Also, I'm going to be disappointed if no one has clipped me burning myself. Shaggy says, I prefer not touching or interacting with the burn spot. Just leave it be. Usually when I do something it just gets worse. Yeah, I mean that's probably right. I think encouraging blood flow can help to some extent, especially like early on, because like blood is also a cooling system as well. But yeah. Anyway. Oh, I have this old thing of like thicker solder that I want to use up, so I don't need fine solder for this. Just dip the burn in LN2. I wonder what effect that would have. I mean, like, obviously, like, long term it's quite bad for you, but, like, short term, I don't know. I mean, at some point you're just burning it in a different way. Anyway, that seems to have gone on alright. Okay. So I'm going to try and hot glue that down in a minute. So for DDR voltage, again we'll probably try and make that neat, so about there. Definitely a raised area now. Don't know, is it starting to come through yet? Yeah, that's starting to come through a bit. It's not very well focused. Maybe if I actually put it further from the camera. Yeah. Right. I forgot to scrape the hole, didn't I? That's not going to wet. Okay. Let's do some scraping. Shaggy says cool technique, and thank you. Hopefully it works. Come on. Oh, it's starting to wet a little bit. I think a teeny tiny bit. Not very much. Oh, that's looking a bit better. There we go. Brilliant. Right. So I've got memory voltage monitoring, and I've got a wire coming off of my feedback pin for memory. What else do I need? I need a variable resistor for memory. So I have those somewhere. That's just a box of regular resistors. I think it. Yeah. I'm definitely going to leave it once I've got the memory Voltmod done, though, I think. Did I say definitely, I think? Yeah, anyway. Where did I leave my variable resistors? Oh, well, I found my solder sucker. Oh no. Found a parts organizer full of random stuff, including like some D9JN chips that got ripped off a PCB, I think. That's a bit grim. I know I have variable resistors. Hey Alex, been offline for around an hour. What's happened? Well, actually, thank you for the reminder. I'm going to turn the soldering iron off for a bit. So I burned myself. Just there. I've got voltage monitoring hooked up for memory. And I've got a wire soldered onto the feedback pin. For memory. Core has been elusive, and between how long I've been going, the fact that I was tired before I started, which probably contributed to the burn, and just like the fact that like I've been leaning over a desk a lot, I'm probably going to call it once I've got the variable resistor on for memory. Except I can't find the sodding variable resistor. So what I think might be going on is I think it might not be up here. I think not up here. I don't think it's in my box of various like... Oh, there's some flux. Okay, cool. I think it might be in a random drawer upstairs. So I'm going to go look. I'll give it a couple of minutes. Right, well, I can't find the variable resistors. Oh, they were staring me in the face. Right, this is an assortment. So the next thing that I need to think about is which I'm going to use. And so to determine that, I need to check what the existing resistances are. That's definitely off. So there's our feedback pin. Memory voltage about 850 ohms, and where's our ground? Just there. Also about 850 ohms probably. So probably want about a 5 or 10k pot, I guess. These, do they have values printed on them? They have something printed on them, but it doesn't tell me anything. That, or they're all identical. Well, that one's 1k. Where did I get that from? I think I got it from there. Let's go from top left. And we're measuring between the outer two legs, which is really awkward. So that's 1m. That's clearly too much. Aha, 5k. $5k I am happy with. All of these are marked 3296. And I think it's 5k might be a bit much. We'll bench that. Do I have a 10k? This is 20k. Let's go with 20k. Shaggy says it's black text, not on these. It says W203 on the end of it, next to the actual adjustment point. So fair enough. Okay. So let me check what it's set to at the moment then. Yeah, that's set to 10. If it's 10k to the middle, there's going to be 10k from the middle to the other side, pretty much, isn't it? Yep. Okay, cool. That'll do. Right. So basically, I probably want to just put it on top of there. Or something? Yeah, that seems reasonable. What angle do I want it at? Do I want it like that, maybe? Yeah, that seems okay. Alright. So probably solder it on about like that. Yeah. I want some thicker cardboard. I've got to solder above something. I'd rather I wasn't soldering above like thin paper. That feels too vulnerable. There we go. Alright. So it doesn't really matter where I solder as long as I solder, as long as I don't do like feedback on one end and ground on the other, because then it wouldn't be adjustable. I'm also actually going to need a wire for ground, so I can probably just reuse this wire for that. So I better solder that on first, I suppose. Alright, let's fire at the TS100. Give that a moment. Yours asks, what card do you want to see for cheap as 2022? I think it's kind of a random one, but I think a GT740 for cheap ads would be good. That'd be fun. Yeah, I think GT740. Ooh, I need a different angle for this, don't I, really? Yeah. The ground wire is going to be coming off at a weird angle, but who cares? Let's not hold it that close to the end. I'm not looking to get my fingertips burned. Back of a finger I can deal with. Fingertips, that would suck. Okay. Well, that's really ugly. But indisputably connected. Really ugly but indisputably connected is also the name of Mark Zuckerberg's autobiography. I feel bad about that. Wait, why do I feel bad about that? It's Mark Zuckerberg, fuck him. I am going to double check that it's actually connected. Yoss asks, why GT740? I don't know, they just seem like interesting cards. Right. Yep, that's connected. 0 ohms near enough. You know, I bet there's a load of lag on the chat because I turned off low latency mode after I was having trouble with the stream the other day. I should probably turn it back on. How's the market on 740s? Oh, really good, really good. They're very easy to get hold of, as far as I know. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the availability is 100%. I really, really need something to hold that in place. Ooh, I know. One moment. have these metal clothes pegs for resealing food. That'll do. Contenders from the forum is GT210 or Oland. The only problem with Oland is you've got a decent chance of software Vcore because they probably have a fairly good controller. So then, like, yeah. I mean, you can still mod an Oland, but I think you can probably get basically all the way with like software BIOS and cooling. Oh, you know what I need that I've forgotten? Heat shrink. That's and if I'm using heat shrink, then I can have a ton more area stripped as well. Where's the heat shrink? Oh no, not another thing I have to look for. I definitely have heat shrink. There's some. Right. Bit of a pig's arse of that, but go on you go. Why isn't the solder even wetting to the iron? Come on. Get on there, you little shit. Or don't. Fine, I guess just pout. Ow, ow, ow. That's too much solder. Definitely too much. And now the bloody wires are all over the place. Right. Let's try this again. If this doesn't work, I'm trying a different solder, I guess. You know, I also feel like I should really trim this wire a bit more, because I'm going to have a massive fucking wire hanging off otherwise. Okay. I really was not expecting this, of all things, to be giving me grief. This should be straightforward. Should be very straightforward. No, come on. Bastard. I'm going to shift the camera over a little bit so that you can watch it not work a bit better. Okay, let's stop trying to use an excessive length of wire. Ah, the wire strips are terrible for this. Scissors. There. Actually, the other thing that I can usefully do is I can take this leg and bend it up. Use a screwdriver for that. There we go. Shaggy says, as you were talking about stupid long wire, got a stupid idea for future Vmod. Wonder if I can find a dial phone somewhere. I'm concerned, but intrigued. Right. Should I try a higher temperature? I have an option for a higher temperature, fuck it. Let's try that. And let's get rid of the crappy, like, random solder from an old soldering kit I had as a kid. Is there actually a difference? Yeah. So I was trying to use tin copper, and this is tin, copper and silver. So that might maybe, I don't know. Calls it itself activity solder. But yeah, maybe that will behave itself better. Wow. Ah! Nice, Alex. Ow. Just gonna see if it's... Can this wire even be tinned? Is it even possible? Actually looks like it's not. Why? How is it it got soldered just there and now it's not even like tinning? Right. Get a little bit of solder on the end of the iron. Watch it not be willing to... Oh, it's connected to the wire a little bit. Okay. Ow. I'm going to try a lower temperature, you know. Forks, please don't call things NSFW when they're not actually literally NSFW. Infinity asks, how's the hard modding? Well, I burned myself and now this wire is refusing to attach to a trim pot. And also I can't find where Vcore traces out to. So it could be going better. It's so close, like fucking multi-strand wire, like some of it's attached. I think dropping the temperature was the right thing to do though. Yeah. That is not well attached in the slightest. But I don't care because I have heat shrink. As long as the heat shrink can actually get over the solder joint. And it can! Excellent. Alright, I have a blowtorch somewhere to put that on properly. Oh, I could use the heat gun. Yes. I have just a lighter? I'm not sure I actually do. There we go. That probably wasn't even visible. Gas soldering iron. Alright. I could have just done that. Oh well, whatever. Find more heat shrink. Let's go with some nice green heat shrink this time. Alright. I'm going to need to trim this as well. I think basically long enough for me to attach is going to be as long as it ever needs to be. Yeah, let's go with that. What solder are you using? It's well, I've got it in different thicknesses, but it's this stuff. So mostly tin, some silver, some copper. It's 0.3 silver, 0.7 copper, and then the rest of it's tin. People complaining about it being lead free. Yeah, it is lead free, and I'm more comfortable with that. Sorry. Oh, I forgot to strip the bloody wire. Okay, well, let's just do this tinning briefly. No flux cord. I think it's flux cord, yeah. Where's the wire strippers? There they are. Once I've got the potentiometer attached, I'm calling it, because I'm like flagging massively, and this is a really bad time to be flagging, because how did I solder this initially? It's too small for my wire strippers. For goodness sake. It's not like the lead is getting in the fumes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I suppose. Yeah. I would feel bad introducing random lead to things. There it is. At this point, I'm tempted to just try and like burn away the insulation. Ah, that's working. That's working. Yeah, I'm gonna have to melt away some of this, I think. Right. How is a wire so thin, so conductive of heat? Stay. No. Why are you just not going to melt now? Prick. Get on there. Goodness sake. Yep, stay, stay. Put a little flux on there with the pen. It's melting together fine. The only problem is that I can't keep it stably in place. There we go. Right, TS100 unplugged. And out the way. Heat shrink. I'm going to be so annoyed if the heat shrink doesn't fit over that joint. It does, thank goodness. I'll do. Oh, good. Right. Only one more thing to do, which is to glue the pot onto the card. And I guess maybe tidy the wires up. Let's go and fetch back the hot glue gun. Whew. Oh boy. Yeah. There's a nice kind of red outline coming through. I don't know, maybe it's more visible on the other camera. There's a focus ring here, hold on. Other direction. Yeah. That's why you're careful with your soldering irons. I really don't like that the cameras are different brightnesses. But I don't actually really know how to make this camera, like, be different brightness. Okay, so potentiometer probably... I guess there, like at an angle, would work quite well. Yeah. That'll do. If you think that cable is thin, you should see what they use in modern headphones. After a while, you just stop noticing. Yeah, yeah, they're all ridiculously thin, and my fine motor control is not great at the moment. Like, just generally, it's weird because like it's not fine motor control. It's just like I can't hold my arm still. I think it's to do with just like general fitness, to be honest. I'm really tired. It is heating up, isn't it? Yeah. Soon it will be glued on, and then I can stop the stream, and then I can go to bed. I meant you stop noticing burning yourself. Oh. I mean, yeah. I'm only really dwelling on it because it's like an interesting thing that happened. It's not... I wouldn't say it's really bothering me. I mean, as I said previously, I think I have fairly kind of high pain tolerance, but it's, yeah. It's registering, but not much. I think part of that is like a really big component of pain in general is anxiety. So like, if you know that something's not going to be a problem, that it's not going to harm you, then it doesn't hurt anything like as much, and it's sort of a lot more easy to tolerate. And I know that this burn is not going to cause any kind of problem for me. So, yeah, it's just like, it's information which I can pretty much ignore. There we go. Right. So there might be some scope to kind of tidy the wires up a bit. I wonder if I can glue them all down just here, maybe. Oh, that's lifted the bloody pot. Okay. Let's glue the wires down and then I'll put the pot back. If I can get the wires... No, let's not do that because I'm going to hurt myself if I do that. Let's in fact glue the pot back down. And glue it on a bit better this time. And let's not worry about the wires. Because if I'm dispensing hot glue right by my fingers, I know what's going to happen. That would be a bad idea. This doesn't count, that's different. Alright. Will do. Any damage to fingers is always going to be annoying. Hurting or not, problem is to keep from poking at it later. Yeah, fortunately I think with where it is being like on the back of a finger, that should be fine. Anyway, I've been going for nearly 3 hours, over 2.5 anyway, and given I was tired when I started, I think I should call it, because if I try and do any more modding, I'm going to make mistakes and hurt myself again, realistically. And my back's starting to hurt. So, thank you for watching. I hope that was interesting. I hope someone clipped me burning myself. But yeah, cheers everyone. Thanks for the follows, the 2 people who followed. And I'll be back on Saturday, hopefully benching it on Saturday. I don't know what I'm going to do about Vcore. But I don't know, we'll see. Maybe tomorrow, when I'm in a more awake state, I will be able to figure out Vcore. Maybe I won't be able to figure out Vcore. If I can't figure out Vcore, then whatever, at least we've got Vmem, I suppose. Be interesting to see how that goes. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and good night. Bye everyone.